Hello and welcome to the presentation today. Today we're looking at the climate colours of Australia and applying those to the textile print, which was our blue banded bee range, and exploring that further and applying those colours into those textiles. So to start with, just on reflection, looking at the prints that we have developed, we had our shell print, our busy bee print, and our blue fan print. All of those inspired by the Australian blue banded bee. So to start with, we've done quite a bit of research into the climates of Australia. So starting with the tropical Australia, it was very interesting looking at the colours that were important there and the reasons that they are so important. So a climate which is tropical is very warm and has a wet and dry season. And what that means is because they do get quite a lot of sunlight and along with a lot of rain, there is really lush plant life. So we have the rainforests in Australia and they're really full of really deep lush greens. And the other thing that we do find is quite a lot of pinks and reds in those plants as well, and which I discovered the reason being that also helps protect them from the sun. The alpine climate of Australia is quite different to what you find overseas because it's usually the meaning is above tree line. However, in Australia, we don't necessarily consider it have to be above tree line. We have quite a unique alpine region that is full of gum trees, and when you get to the tops of the summit you do often find a lot of rock and low plant life, but the gum trees are really quite a beautiful feature of our colder climate and alpine region. The arid climate is perhaps what Australia is most well known for, and that is because we have such a large amount of land that is in that kind of climate. So it's very hot and dry, and because of that, the plant life and the animals as well there, they have developed so they can actually survive in that sort of environment. So you've got a lot of really light coloured brittle plants, you've got a lot of really red soil and rich browns, and also in animals as well, you'll see that the textures and colours that they have to help them survive there. So just starting with the arid climate, I thought this was a really great picture of this little lizard down the bottom and just showing, it shows the harsh environment that you do have with an arid climate. The plant life there, the cracking of the creek bed, which is quite beautiful in the pattern there. And also this is a aerial view of a dry creek bed as well, but a quite common thing there is just how important the soil is, and pulling the colours from those images, browns and your sort of warmer browns and then those sort of red tones were quite probably the standouts. Tropical Australia, definitely our most colourful palette. So again, just where I mentioned before, just touching on the plant life and those rich colours. The other thing, this image of the beach is at Rainbow Beach in Queensland, and you can see why it's called that, because of its really amazing sunsets along with the sand and the water there. So quite sort of gelaty, pastel-y colours showing up there. Plus you've also got obviously all the water that we have in these alpine regions. So those aquamarines, deep blues and greens are quite strong there too. The alpine climate, so as mentioned, I've really focused on the Australian alpine climate. So we have this beautiful twisted gum tree which really pops. That's what I think you really found one thing that stood out when it is snowing, and those images that you look at, the colours against that snow, there's quite a lot of contrast. The other thing I did discover, which I found very interesting as well, is the reason that sometimes the snow looks blue is just based on how much it compresses, and also it's very much like the ocean that gets the reflection from the sky, and when you're on a top of a mountain top, you've got endless skies which are providing that sort of environment. So our colour development, I really looked at applying as many colours as possible. I could have gone on for pages and pages here of what I actually did play around with, but also I thought it was interesting to play around with what was the negative space as well for those prints. Doing quite earthy colours to oceany blue colours to cooler colours to also these really nice, fun, bright colours as well. So our arid inspiration, where I ended up was drawing on the rich colours of the soil. I almost call it like a clay colour mixed back with almost a warm caramel. They are quite warm colours. I found that our Busy Bee print really had a 70s vibe to it, so I felt that this colourway was really fun to put into this collection. I also think those colours, based on the company being sustainable, there is ways that potentially we could draw those colours out of ethical dyeing processes as well. And amongst these 3 prints here, I wanted to play with a different colour as the solid background. So we've picked up a white background, which is just going to be whatever the fabric is, and then you've got your caramel and also your clay. So taking that further and putting it into some products. So one thing that I did do that was a little, which I did get some direction from you as well, that was okay to move on, was I felt, being that the company is sustainable, that we should actually market and reflect the prints in that way. So here I've got 3 pieces. We've got a mid-century, which fits in with this whole 70s kind of vibe that we've got with this colourway, a mid-century footstool. We've also got a vintage chair, which is mid-century as well, and then the cushion that was already given to us. So with that in mind, I actually, on the bottom left, image 1 is a mid-70s architect designed house that's in Australia, and just applying those colours, which I just love, all putting just this tone on tone, and playing with also the opacity just to see how they it almost picks up colours a different way. And then also on the right down here, just looking at houses that are built in quite a sustainable way using sustainable materials, and I think timber is one of those materials. So here we've done the full carpet runner, which looks quite incredible there, and just the little cushion as a feature. Our tropical Australia, we have picked up a bit more of, they're almost like nude blushy tones, and they really team well together. Again, I have played with having the 3 different back colours, so that really nude colour to that warmer kind of apricot tone, and really feel they're fun colours. They have a really nice feel to them being in these brighter tones. So with that in mind, I really felt just putting it into the house next door, making it really feel like this is a really nice way to add some interest to a house. So we've put it onto the linen couch here. I also applied it to the lamp that was prepared, and just showing with the 3 stack cushions just how lovely these prints are when they're actually all put together. Finally, our alpine climate, and perhaps my favourite of all 3. I think that it really, these prints can bring the outdoors inside. The bold black against that gumtree or olive green really it's a really nice contrast, and just having that little negative space in amongst it just softens it down a little. And what we have done here is apply it to some ethical, sustainable brands. We did quite a bit of research and discovered Jardin, which is an Australian company who are making furniture in the most ethical way that they can. So this little hero piece here is this single armchair, which we have also put into our vignette, which is a sustainable builder, architect that was a build in Hepburn Springs in Victoria, and thought this was a lovely way to showcase the prints. The couch down the bottom, which was a piece that was supplied, I've really played with the opacity here, so it's taken on more of a khaki tone and really sits well back with those linen cushions. And a towel, just showing another way that you can use the print and make a really beautiful product out of something quite simple. So lastly, just to show you our prints all together, we've got the bee fan print, playing around with the scale of the print just to show the versatility. Bee shell print as well, which is quite bold, but again, playing with the pattern size to show different ways that it can be used. Quite abstract when it's larger. And the busy bee print again, which is almost, when you take it down to the smaller size, it doesn't seem as busy. It just gets lost into more of a little pattern there and picks up the highlights of those colours. So I just want to thank you for allowing me to explore the colours further. I found this project quite really satisfying actually to do, and I look forward to any further opportunities. Thank you.